5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, February 18th, 2022. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. All this week, Troy University Student Government Association had activities planned to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion on campus. That included an event Wednesday night that was designed to get students talking about the issues. Emma Ellis has the story.
Wednesday night, the SGA held a diversity, equity, and inclusion roundtable discussion that Troy University students had the opportunity to participate in. The SGA's main goal with this event was to promote societal growth on our campus and in our communities.
I would just hope growth comes from this. At the end of the day, the diversity, equity, inclusion problem, racism, things like that, that can't be solved overnight, but we can start helping things like that. We can start at Troy University, and it can trickle back home to people's hometowns and can go from there.
The SGA believes that in order to promote this growth, we must be willing to facilitate difficult discussions.
We have to be able to be uncomfortable with the learning curve. You know, a lot of people think that change is gonna, happen once you bring awareness to it. There are a lot of people, change won't happen for, a few years. But just being able to take that first step is the most important. And I think that's what we have encouraged everyone to strive for and start within their individual lives this week.
The SGA also hopes that this roundtable discussion will help students to feel more comfortable discussing difficult topics.
I'm a firm believer that growth does start with conversations. So as students get more comfortable talking about topics relating to diversity, equity, and inclusion, I do hope that there's growth within our student body and then also just more of a level of comfort whenever it comes to having these hard conversations.
Emma Ellis, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The University Activities Council is normally known for its fun activities like bingo or casino night. However, this week the UAC shifted gears and put on an event designed to help students teach them how to navigate college life. Kaylee Wright has that story.
The UAC held a leadership panel on Wednesday night where students were able to ask questions to successful business people about what it takes to be a leader and for advice in general.
Tonight is the leadership panel. We have 4 to 5 esteemed people that we've known through various facets of life. I think a couple of them actually went to Troy University, and we just decided to have them back so they can speak to the students and show them that there is life after college and you'll be fine, or if there's a student out there who's not really too sure about exactly what they want to do after college, then maybe they would hopefully get some insight tonight on what they want to do.
Samuel Nevels is a leader in his fraternity and knows what he wants out of life. However, this panel taught him something different that will change the way he perceives problems.
I would say one thing I took from this seminar is to live through fear, because one of my main problems sometimes I have in life that I fear the future. It's like now since I'm graduating, I'm in the process of searching for a job and just interviewing, getting declines, getting a couple of exceptions, but I make it to the second round interview, then get a decline. So it just living through fear, it takes being patient to get to where you want to be in life. So
panelist Grace Wagstaff can attest to this. Before she earned her graduate degree in clinical mental health, she had a promising career in theater. She says that despite the necessary change, the two disciplines are not so different.
So the transition was tough, and it wasn't one that I ever foresaw myself having. But what I noticed is that in both theater and performance and in mental health and coaching, I just feel like I'm relating to people, and I'm hearing people's stories, and I'm offering them a perspective on their story.
Wagstaff said that if there is one thing she wants students to take with them, it is that they already have the ideas, strength, and leadership qualities to pave their own path.
I want them to feel empowered. I want them to ask themselves, why am I waiting on an opportunity? Why am I waiting on a door to open? Why am I not opening the door myself? Feeling that sense of agency and autonomy within themselves, I think is really important as you move forward in your careers.
Kaylee Wright, Troy, TrojanVision News.
All this week, a Troy University sorority was raising money to help local children in need. Savannah Sapp has more on what the sorority is doing and who it will benefit.
To kick off their semesterly philanthropy events. The sorority will be holding various fundraisers throughout this week to aid a cause that is close to their hearts, children in need. We're raising money for Prevent Child Abuse America. 80% of whatever we raise goes to the CAC here in Troy, which is kind of just a middle ground between DHR and the court system. Kids who are in abusive households are able to go to the CAC to have interviews instead of having to go to a court setting and face the person that offended against them.
Prevent Child Abuse America's mission is to stop the neglect and abuse of children before it occurs. The organization provides resources such as crisis nurseries, home visitation services, and parent support groups to promote their cause. The remaining 20% of the proceeds raised by Kappa Delta will go directly to Prevent Child Abuse America. The chapter will be selling raffle tickets in the Trojan Center on Thursday for a chance to win Yeti products and a $50 gift card. Though the raffle is not the only thing on their schedule this week.
And on Friday we have our Shamrock and Roll from 5 to 7, which is where we have live music and barbecue. On Saturday is our color run, and that's where we have everybody come and run a 5K and we throw color on them. It's really fun.
Last year, the Delta Delta chapter raised the most out of all the chapters in the state. Their goal this year is to surpass the $57,000 they earned in 2021. The sisters are excited to be making an impact on their community.
To know that what we're doing is actually making a difference, but not just like a difference to a national organization, but to somewhere here that like we are a big change in what they're able to do and what they're able to do for the kids.
More information about the philanthropy and how to donate can be found on their chapter's website at troy.kappadelta.org. Savannah Sapp, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see how a Troy musical ensemble helped people celebrate Valentine's Day. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we offer leadership opportunities from day one. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change. Do you have what it takes to change the world?
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Monday was Valentine's Day, a day that gets many in the mood for love. However, Troy University's Trojan Outreach spent the day making sure Troy students knew how to stay safe when they're in the mood for something more. Taylor Wayman shows us how.
The topic of safe sex can be the subject of taboo, but Monday, Troy University's Trojan Outreach program reeled students in with a cup of coffee and the option to take a condom. The outreach leaders spoke with students about the importance of being safe.
I think it brings awareness, and we're all about prevention, STI prevention, HIV/AIDS prevention, and I think just having the students even see us and learn about the students at the Trojan Outreach, just to know that those condoms are available to them. All the other information is available. We just want everybody to be safe. So, you know, and I know that talking about condoms and STIs is like a taboo, or it's a type of situation. We just want, it's okay to ask those questions. It's okay to get the information. That's kind of what we do.
A cup of coffee and a condom. Students are urged to practice safe sex on campus or off campus, but the importance is known as a taboo, and students are urged to talk about it openly. Students don't typically open up about the topic of sex, let alone the preventative measures that go along with it. Troy's outreach program welcomes students over and let them know that it's okay to have the discussion, and many students were supportive of their cause.
Well, I just definitely want to show support for safe sex and advocacy in any way I can, you know, especially with things going on around in the communities. Like, you want to just promote safe sex, and even if you're involved in this type of stuff, just doing it the proper way. So I definitely want to stop by and show support to the people that, you know, show support to me.
We do provide the free condoms, the free self-testing kits, the free HIV in the clinic in Dothan as well as in Montgomery. So that we've partnered with them and reached out and kind of gotten together like that.
The event was colorful and made the topic less uncomfortable to speak about without deterring from their main purpose, awareness.
I think it just puts people in the right mindset of just knowing that, you know, this, even though we're young, you want to indulge in certain things, just doing it the proper way, just being a mature adult about it.
Taylor Wayman, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Love and music was in the air Monday night as a Troy University music ensemble gave the gift of song to local residents for Valentine's Day. Kadarius Brown gives us a look.
Troy University's vocal jazz ensemble Frequency and the Johnson Center of the Arts partnered together to take an evening of love and fill it with song in a Valentine's Cabaret, an evening of love songs. Monday night, which was also Valentine's Day, was filled with music as the Troy University vocal jazz ensemble Frequency put on a show centered around love. Music lovers alike filled the studio of downtown Troy. The audience got to see group numbers, duets, and solos. The free Valentine's Cabaret gave both couples and lone wolves a chance to feel the love. This was Frequency's last solo performance for a while, as they will be accompanying other music groups. You could say it was a heartfelt final performance. A student and audience member recounts her experience at the show.
I really enjoyed it. It was really welcoming when we came in. I know a few people that were singing, so I love to watch them because I haven't got to watch them yet, so I really enjoyed it. It was so good. It gave me chills.
I hear from some members of Frequency on what the cabaret means to them.
It's always really fun just to get to fellowship and sing with people that I know. It meant a lot to me just because this is the first unmasked live performance that we've done in a while. So just to get back in my element and our element and perform was very fun.
My favorite part was seeing how responsive the whole entire audience was. There wasn't a single moment that I saw someone not engaged in the music and really loving what we were doing, and it's really nice to see our hard work being appreciated. Oh, I definitely felt the love in the air. There was familial love, there was friend love, there was romance love. It was every type of love that you could ever want, and it was so great.
Troy University students had the chance to show off their talents Tuesday night in an event inspired by the famous television talent show, It's Showtime at the Apollo. Jared McBride gives us a look at the evening's events.
On Tuesday night, the National Association of Black Journalists held Apollo Night, where a variety of students showed off their talent. The winner of the event tells us how she feels about her victory.
Winning, I'm really excited because I literally waited until yesterday to say I was doing it, but I don't know, it's just that song really meant something to me, and to be able to win from singing that song, it just means a lot, and I'm really happy.
The contestants weren't the only ones showing off their talent, as they also had upper echelon models, people dancing in crowds, and even audience members had the chance to win some door prizes as well.
I felt really, really good because I thought I wasn't going to win nothing. So I'm really excited that I won something.
After the event, I had a chance to catch up with the president of NABJ and asked them how they felt about the event and also their future plans.
I just want to say thanks to everyone who came out to Apollo Night. We had a great crowd, a lot of participation. I thank Upper Echelon for coming. And also we have an event on February 26th, Lead, Slay, Repeat with Jaleesa Raquel. And she's an award-winning journalist from Atlanta. And so we're excited about that, and we want people to come out to that. It'll be in Hall Hall.
To keep up with future NABJ events, you can follow them on Instagram at Troy_NABJ. This is Jared McBride, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, Troy students experienced a traditional Chinese tea ceremony firsthand. We'll give you a look after the break, so stay tuned.
We all dream, but dreams quickly become distant memories unless we do something about it. Do everything in our power to learn to lead. At Troy University, we teach everyone to be leaders in their field. We're dedicated to teaching a new generation to lead change.
Mama. Mama. Say mama. Yeah.
I don't know how to tell you this, but I'm almost 2 now and still not responding. That's one sign of a communication disorder, and delaying treatment can affect my development.
Many parents aren't aware of the early signs of speech, language, and hearing disorders, yet early detection and treatment can improve quality of life.
Say dada.
Ugh, here we go.
Identify the signs of communication disorders.
Right now, the world's eyes are on China as Beijing is the host city for the Winter Olympics. And Troy University students have an outlet on campus to learn every week about the culture of China. Last week, students experienced a traditional Chinese tea ceremony. Georgia Clark has the story.
On Thursday night, Troy students were able to immerse themselves in Chinese culture. The Cha Dao, which translates to the way of the tea, is an ancient Chinese tea ceremony that can be used in many different ways in today's society.
So tea is not only a hobby, it's also something that everyone could enjoy, and it's very relaxing. It brings peace to the person that do the tea ceremony.
Bui also discusses how these types of experiences are important for the international student body.
To see that a lot of international students could come, like there's like a space and a time for them to come and like share their values and also their languages sometime to the American students, is something that I think the international students who are far away from home, they would very appreciate that.
Before the ceremony, students were given a tour of the exhibition hall by John Garrett, where he educated them on various artifacts and items of cultural significance.
To be able to show people and let them see these things for the first time, it's so cool. You know, in the more personal tours and stuff, we let them play the instruments, we let them wear the clothes and put on the lion's head and stuff. And it's just, I mean, to put a smile on someone's face and show them something new at the same time, I mean, that's probably my favorite part, yeah.
At the conclusion of the event, students were offered food and the opportunity to make tea of their own. The Chinese Culture Club is directed by the Center for International Languages and Cultures, which has a mission of enlightening the community.
So our mission is sort of to educate Troy students and the community also of, it's called cultural competence. It's just like teaching people about other cultures and how to interact with other cultures.
The Chinese Culture Club holds weekly tea talks on Thursdays from 6 to 7 in John Robert Lewis, room 14. Everyone is encouraged to come and learn more about Chinese culture. Georgia Clark, Troy, Trojan Vision News.
And Lewis Hall wasn't the only place for Troy students to get a lesson in Chinese culture. The International Student Cultural Organization taught students about the history and culture of China as a part of their weekly country nights. Belle Johnson has the story.
Thursday night, ISCO hosted its first event of the semester, China Night. Students, faculty, and the public were able to come in and learn more about Chinese culture and the day-to-day lives of people in China from presenter Sylvia Lee.
So I basically talk about first, like, you know, what do you think about China? What's the first picture when we mention China and it comes to your mind? And everybody will talk about the Great Wall, pandas, and chop suey, and all those images. And later I got into this, well, what do Chinese people like?
Yeah, tonight it was our first event this semester, and we started with the China night, and it was amazing. We didn't expect like this much of people, but it was so great.
Attendants not only learned more about Chinese culture, but were also able to listen to traditional Chinese music and instruments performed by Troy students.
I sing a song with my friend. The song's name is Chilling. It's a very traditional Chinese song.
I was just really happy our Chinese students could participate, and so many people are coming from other countries, and they have questions that really appreciate it. You know, their interest and their enthusiasm to be here and to know about China.
Lee says she wanted to discuss and educate those in attendance about what they may not know about China and give them something to think about during and after the event.
I want to bring a new view for them to actually look into, especially in this kind of time, and mainly to know a little bit more about China, Chinese people, and to also tell our Chinese students to actually stand in the American soil and look back at China, and would it change them a little bit more? And also I want all the students to have a feeling like, well, we, China, America, we're all friends, and we are we depend on each other, and there's not that much difference.
Belle Johnson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
The men's basketball team welcomed the last place team in the Sun Belt Conference in Little Rock. Jacqueline Lambert has more on what went down in the final Sun Belt battle for the Trojans.
Although heading into the game, the Troy Trojans were a clear favorite to win the game and sitting at second place in the Sun Belt Conference, Troy fell to Little Rock 66-62. As Troy celebrated the 30th anniversary of the 258-point game, the Troy Trojans hosted the other Trojans of the Sun Belt Conference in Little Rock.
And what a special day, the 258 game, to honor those guys. I wanted nothing more than to get a victory for them, and just so many fans in here, but we just weren't mentally ready. I tried my best before the game to get our guys fired up and ready to go. I think they probably looked at the South Alabama Little Rock score and felt like we were just going to show up and win the basketball game, but it doesn't happen that way.
From tip-off, Little Rock challenged the Troy Trojans, leading by as many as 7 points multiple times throughout the first half. The Trojans were sparked by Effie Odigi making 2 free throws, which started a 7-0 run with a 3 by Christiana Eugene to cap it off, making it a tie game at 29 points and over 4 minutes left in the half. The Trojans got a lot of help from the bench the entire game, scoring 39 bench points versus Little Rock's 18.
As I would say, Christiana Eugene, Spud, played a really good game coming off the bench. I would say our bench guys, did a solid job. They were all plus in the plus-minus category, so they did their part to help us win.
Going into the half, both Trojans were tied at 31. In the second half, Troy's last lead was with 11:49 left in the game on a 3 nailed by Kiefer Punter. The Little Rock Trojans took the lead seconds later and never let it go for the rest of the game. With almost 2.5 minutes left in the game, Little Rock was up by 7, but after a few forced errors and visits to the free throw line, the Trojans bought the game within 2. After clutch free throws by Little Rock and missed shots by Troy, the score was 66-62 at the final buzzer, handing the Troy Trojans their first loss in 4 games.
Little Rock showed that they're a good basketball team. They were tougher than us today. They hit big shots, but our defense just was non-existent as the bottom line, and we started out with no ball pressure. Didn't do the little things that have made us successful.
The Skylar Meade era of Trojan baseball starts this weekend. I had the chance to sit down with the new head coach to learn about the season in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Skylar Meade, head baseball coach here at Troy University. Skylar, thanks for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.
And first season as head coach coming up here shortly, but just before we get into talking about the team and the season, all that kind of stuff, just tell me, how are you feeling about starting your head coaching career here at Troy?
I'm sure many people would be shocked to know I'm kind of feel pretty good. I don't really sleep much as is, so my wife gets mad at me when I'm up at 4 or 4:30 in the morning, but really I feel good. Our guys have made it pretty seamless. They're good kids. They've been totally bought in. They work really hard. I mean, I know there's going to be some things that are minor roller coasters mentally through the season, but I feel good. We love Troy, and I could say that for the rest of our staff that's new as well. Everybody's been incredibly welcoming, and this community and the support with baseball, we've already felt it, and I know we'll feel it more when we start next Friday.
And of course, with that, we talk about your coaching staff and building that up, and all part of this is building up and establishing your program. And so talk a little bit about like how that process of getting all the right pieces in place to get where you are today and getting ready for the season? So,
well, that's the first thing you have to do. Anybody that's new, you got to establish culture. What are the expectations? You have to lay them out, be thorough and clear and concise as to what that is. For us, we obviously ask a lot of our guys in terms of their work ethic. We ask that they do the right things in the classroom. We ask they do the right things on and off the field, be respectable. But we ask them to push to limits they've never been before. And that can be uncomfortable for people. It can be uncomfortable for anyone in any line of work. And so we want our guys to do that, but we also try to do it with an atmosphere that creates fun and creates that elevated level of competition. And so, we had to start that immediately in August. The first team meeting, I think, set the tone for that. And, you fast forward 6 months later, I think our guys understand to this point what it takes. Now, when you get into the season, you have the trials and tribulations. There's going to be things that they haven't gone through. There's going to be a guy that has a day where he comes in a little upset and mopey because of a bad game. We'll address that when it comes. But in terms of the systematic stuff that we can control as coaches about laying the foundation, I think we're in a really good place right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that and what you've seen so far here. How is the team looking as we gear up to this first game?
Well, these last 3 days are going to be big in terms of just kind of as we try to iron some things out. I mean, we don't have lineups set. We're still figuring out roles with pitchers. And I say that, and it's a good thing. It's a good problem to not totally know. So there's competition. You have 13, 14 guys really battling for the 9 spots on the field. And there's going to be multiple guys that play early on. I mean, that's just what we have. We think we're fortunate with some older hitters, some guys that are experienced who are going to be able to do that and handle the right matchups so that they're successful. Pitching-wise, we don't have, tons of numbers and depth per se, but I think the guys that have exhibited the ability to be trusted, throwing the most strikes, have multiple pitches in the zone, those are the guys that are going to see the most innings. What we'll need to do is some of those guys that end up being starters, we're going to need them to, be durable and strong and give us a lot of innings. But I like that we do simple things well. We play really good defense. We're solid up the middle, especially on that end. The older hitters are in a really good place mentally and physically. And, some of these arms have really improved their stuff in their repertoire.
And of course, talk a little about personnel. We don't have to get into specifics, but obviously, new coach, new team, you don't really know about the transition from one season to the other, but you have had a chance to bring in some new personnel and do some other things for the players to get this team ready.
Yeah, we have. Obviously there's some very good players that were here when we came in. There's guys that experienced college baseball players. Jesse Hall, who's been around for a long time. Donovan Wisman, a solid player. Caleb Bartolero is as talented a player as there probably is in the Sun Belt when he's right. Stearns, all those guys offensively. Obviously, Gary Gaines was, Sun Belt Freshman of the Year, and I think has really risen to the occasion in the preseason to what he's doing. We brought in some transfers in our, really couple weeks from getting the job to school starting, and Trey Leonard, Colin Summerhill, and Brady Moore, who are all incredibly athletic kids and can stick it a little bit. So it's a good blend. What makes us happy as coaches, and I guess maybe myself most as the head coach, is our guys have all morphed together really well. They're very supportive of one another. They know they're competing against one another. They're not naive to that, yeah. but they also, there's not that rivalry that can create the wrong vibe within your team.
And of course, talk about the opening up the season. You get the chance to open up at home. So as a new coach, as a season starts, it's got to feel good to be able to be on the home field for that opening weekend. So.
Yes, that is the power of being in the South. During my Michigan State days, that would never happen. You're having to chase the warmth, but now we're excited. We get to play in front of our home fans 4 games that first weekend against Holy Cross, and we have a great home slate throughout the course of the year. But it's going to become a situation where, and you asked the question earlier, how do you feel? And I feel totally fine. I would be probably disingenuous if I said maybe about 3:58, 3:59, a minute or two before first pitch of next week. You don't have a different feel. You wouldn't be a competitor if you didn't have some sort of different feeling deep within your body, which I'm just excited to see that. I'm excited to see the fans. The support around here has been great in the lead up. So I just want to see what it all looks like when it comes together.
At 4 o'clock on first Friday against Holy Cross. Good luck, and good luck on the season. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30, Monday through Friday. or you can visit us anytime on the Troy Trojan Vision news blog at today.troy.edu/TrojanVision. It's the online content from Troy Trojan Vision News anytime. Well, until next time, we hope you have a good week.